So I want to tell you a little bit about me before I get into why I ran. I'm a mom. I have 3 children. My children are here with us today. I homeschool. I also have a child who's in public school. So I'm dealing with both issues, trying to educate my child and trying to protect my other one. My background is not one of a representative that you would see in Sacramento. I actually grew up as a gang member at the age of 12. I was jumped in, and I never really left until 2012 when I met my husband. And during that time, I was tricked into thinking that I had to fight my own community, that there was not a world out there big enough for me, that I had to stay right here, and nothing was really going to become of my life. And then in 2012, I met my husband, who just happened to have a vaccine insert in his pocket when he took me to lunch. And he said, "You need to read this." And that was my beginning of the rabbit hole going into the pharmaceutical companies colluding with our state representatives to pass laws that don't represent us. And so through all the years of me going to the Capitol and engaging in policy, engaging in legislation, I was shocked. I mean, I was a lifelong Democrat. I voted down party lines since I was able to vote. And then I went up to Sacramento, and I was asking these legislators to listen to what I was saying because I did not like the laws that they were passing. And they slammed the door on my face. They called me an extremist. They called me a terrorist. They called me racist. They called me a racist with a tan. I mean, how racist is that? On your table today, I printed out some pictures, and they're memories of what's been happening since 2015. And on the back, you'll see a little snippet of information on what that picture represents. In 2019, we got heavily involved in legislation because there was a bill, SB 276, that attacked our medical privacy between patient and doctor. It attacked our doctors who were taking care of vaccine-injured children because according to state legislators, that didn't happen. Children were never vaccine-injured. And it allowed public health to be the dictator of what kind of medical procedures our children would be involved in. And in that moment, we knew where this was going. It was right before COVID. We knew exactly the laws that were being passed were going to affect our everyday lives. And so we engaged, we protested, we tried to have relationships with legislators, and they just called us so many names we couldn't have access to them. LA Times, Washington Post, and I'm telling you this because this is what you're going to see in the media. This is what my opponent is going to tell you, that I'm an extremist, that I want to take down the government. I want to course correct the government because they have they went too far. They stepped into our everyday lives on pieces that they have no business doing. They want to talk about criminal justice reform. They want to put a Band-Aid like Senator Shannon said. Well, let's talk about real criminal justice reform. Let's talk about real programs in our community. Let's talk about opening up the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club for free. Because income shouldn't matter. Our children should be protected at all costs, and they should have the opportunity to have those kinds of services regardless of how much money their parents make. Capturing our youth will not fix, but it will course correct what is going on with crime in this country. Our children have nowhere to go. They're on the streets. They're forgotten. They're being used as meal tickets, as cash cows, and I want to change that here in this district. I grew up here. I was raised in Tracy, and I moved to Stockton as a teenager, and we benefited from so many programs that we had here in San Joaquin County. Programs like the Summer Youth Program that equipped children to learn how to make money and how to balance their paycheck, how to gain skills, and how to go into the workforce, so that way they can uplift themselves out of poverty. Why don't we have that? There's enough money in this state to do that. We have record high taxes. In this state, we have absolutely nothing to show for it. We want to talk about the homeless issue? Well, how about we really bring in people like Jessica, who are out on the streets, talking to the people, making relationships with them, because they're human. They're not just dollar signs. And that's what Sacramento has treated them as. $24 billion lost and unaccounted for? That could have fed so many people experiencing homelessness. What happened to those houses that Gavin Newsom said that he was going to provide for the homeless community? They're not there. We have a really good opportunity here in San Joaquin County to utilize state land or county land to create safe camping sites to be ran by veterans that are experiencing homelessness, because if you've met a veteran, you know that they're gonna lay the smack down and bring drugs into that place. We want to have balance and course correction, and honestly, I am not a party line person. I'm not beholden to a special interest group. I'm not beholden to a political party. I can't be controlled. The only person that can control me is you. And I have absolutely no intention on changing any of that. I'm not trying to get rich in politics. I'm not getting in this because I want to be a politician. I don't like politicians. I love you guys, but I don't like politicians. I'm not in it for money or notoriety. I'm in it because my family lives here. My friends live here. I love San Joaquin County. We are rich in resources here, and that's why they want it so badly. My opponent is a progressive Democrat. My opponent is supported by the same senator, Susan Eggman, who went on the floor and said, after 12 years of being a senator, I'm so tired of protecting pedophiles. I'm so tired of saying that it's okay to buy little girls. On a public hearing, she would say that. Can you imagine what happens behind closed doors? We have had a very unique opportunity as Freedom Angels to build relationships with the Democrats. We love our Republicans, but we're a supermajority here. We're not going to get any work done if we don't build those bridges with the progressives and the moderates, and we have done that. We have been able to defeat bills that lower the age of consent by Senator Scott Wiener, who wanted to allow minors 12 and up to get vaccinated with no parental notification. We were able to stop Aguilar Curry's bill, AB 659, that would have mandated the HPV shot for minors with no exemptions. And although a lot of these things may not affect you in your daily lives, it's going to affect you and your children in the long run. It's going to affect our grandchildren, and it's going to set a precedence that our state government can practice medicine, and that they can tell us what we need to do in order to move around in society. And so I jumped into this race knowing it would be a close race, but we are in a very unique election year. We are in a year where people feel fed up and unrepresented and seeing the crazy left that has happened that tells us that children can change their genders, that parents are not allowed to have any say in their children's educational or medical decisions. We are in a time where no matter what political party you identify with, you are furious at the gas pump. We are all trying to figure out how much money we're going to have left at the end of the week to go grocery shopping to feed our kids. I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with the same exact things you guys are dealing with. I am no better than you. The only reason why I'm able to do this is because my husband works 12 to 14 hours a day. So I can stay home and I can homeschool and I can advocate for my family and I can advocate for your family. And so while I'm out there talking to the community members, I am focused on Democrats because the Democrats don't feel represented. We are all struggling, and in a supermajority of for over 2 decades, we can see what the failures are now. It's not the Republicans, it's the Democrats. It's a failed leadership in Sacramento that have failed to talk to people in the community and are only being beholden to the special interest groups, and we have seen it firsthand. We have went up to the Capitol to try to advocate against bills, to have legislators tell us, I don't have time to talk to you right now, this bill's moving way too fast. Well then who exactly are you representing? If you're not representing your family and your constituents out here, and you're only pushing bills from special interest groups like Equality California, how in the world are we supposed to have balance in this state? The job of the legislator is to come out into the community and have town hall meetings, to tell you what bills are floating, to tell you what bills are being voted on, and to tell you how to get engaged in civics. And even though a lot of us are very sick and tired of politics, I know I am, we're all sick and tired of it. We just want to live and support our kids and enjoy our lives and enjoy our beautiful state. They have made it impossible because we are starving out here. They haven't missed a meal because we paid their paycheck. But we are over here trying to figure out how we're going to put gas in the car, pay our PG&E that's over $800 a month. That's what's happening in my household. And trying to figure out how I'm going to protect my kid at public school because I'm not allowed on campus, and the policies that are being pushed have put him in a really bad position to either follow the crowd or listen to mom. Who do you think is more powerful? So as this race is going to be extremely close, we're reaching out to the Latino community. We are 43% Latino here in San Joaquin County. And I kind of look like them, you know. I don't look like your everyday politician. I blend right in. But this is what it's going to take. I have been knocking on doors that have never been knocked on before. I am going into the communities that people, politicians, are scared to go into. But those are my communities. I'm not scared. I'm working with criminal justice groups that maybe are Democrat, maybe are left, maybe we're not going to agree on everything, but we will agree on one. And when we agree on just one thing, we can all come to the table and have a conversation and figure out how we can course correct what is happening in our state. That's what I hope to do. And so we're walking every weekend, I'm walking every single day. We're doing social media. I am working the hardest I have ever worked in my life while balancing homeschool life and balancing being a wife and just a person.
Thank you!
And I need your help. Walking and talking wins a race. I am never going to get as much money as my opponent does. She's backed by the political machine that'll dump money and money and money after her. But she has no policy that she can stand on. She has nothing that someone can say, you know what, I agree with you on that. I agree that 12-year-olds are able to run away from home and be housed in the state. Sure, go ahead and take my parental rights. I agree men should be in women's prisons. These are the policies she's going to have to stand all 10 toes on. And I can tell you, the Latino community, the Black community, the Asian community, they do not play with their family and their children. And so I have all these cards in my hand, right? I am able to work with so many different people because I've lived experiences. I can work with the criminal justice groups and talk about true reform because I've lived through it. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. What we did here in San Joaquin County during 2020, somebody has a picture on their table. There's a bunch of business owners holding up a sign that says, "We are open." Remember that? We had San Joaquin County business owners hold a sign in front of City Hall while Tara and I worked closely with them, bringing in attorneys, bringing in civil disobedience, standing outside of businesses and telling the alphabet agencies, nope, you can't come in, you're not welcome. And they stayed open. Businesses here stayed open because nobody has a right to tell us we can't work. Nobody has a right to tell us that we can't support our families. And so as we held these rallies and worked with small business owners, LA Times did a report on us and said the alt-right vaccine conspiracy theorists team up with small business owners. I mean, that is just so stupid, right? But they have to do that to us. They have to label us. They have to create this narrative about us because that's the only way to divide us. Once we stop looking at how they divide us, we're going to start paying attention to policy and legislation, and they just simply can't have that. And so my promise to you, as your assemblywoman, would be, I will be present, I will be available, I will be beholden to you only, because special interest groups have no place in our district. One of the first orders of business for me is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart that Senator Shannon Grove touched on, and that is the men being transferred into women's prisons. 3.5 years of data is showing that women are being assaulted, babies are being born in prison. Where are those babies going? There's a lot of questions, and there's nobody that wants to answer it. And I can tell you, because we have had those conversations, every single Democrat knows about what's going on. They can never walk away from this saying they didn't know. And so we will carry a bill to course correct SB 132 and get those men out of there. So there's a lot of work to be done here in San Joaquin County, and I'm just very honored and very, very blessed that you trust me enough with your vote. I will not let you down. Thank you.